Good morning and welcome back to another episode on the Coin King channel. I am your host, Down to Crypto TA. Just wanted to jump in and give a little bit of my time this morning since we did get more than I was anticipating yesterday, but nonetheless prepared for yesterday, which was we understood that we had the selling pressure coming in with the bear div showing with the rising cloud and was looking for price action to kind of hold around that 786 golden pocket. But yeah, the acceleration just absolutely picked up. We V-shaped recovered, which, I guess market makers just didn't have a handle on things. And now, I mean, we're sideways right now. Bears are in control. I have on suggestive trading setups here. So please be advised of that. Sometimes it gets it wrong. I'm still working on this indicator. So just note that sometimes it can be wrong. I will, if I'm paying attention to it, I will shout it out. I'm just letting you know. Sometimes it can be wrong. Right now, it looks okay. Like I said, bears are in control of the situation right now. I'm gonna move forward to a higher time frame here for Bitcoin. Let's just go ahead and see. Get this. Let me just turn some stuff off in here. Turn off some candle color settings. So forgive me on that. We'll get back to that. Um, did a reset last night and made some additional modifications. So I got to get rid of some things. Let me go ahead and drop that out of the way, and I'll come back and take care of the rest of it. I did not realize. Get that off. Here we go. So we did finally get in here and take the liquidity right there. And like I said to you, we do have quite a bit of support, that's going to come in from these prior highs over here, this prior high there, that one there, and that one there. But golden pocket measure move is here also. Something else that I highlighted, from the stream on Saturday, we did a couple of measured moves. So we did measure out this potential for a head and shoulder formation right here, which it's a little. I mean, it's not the cleanest textbook head and shoulders, and they usually never are. So I don't really like it, but it did give a measured move that suited up for price action coming down here towards the 786. We also did a measured move on the ascending broad information, which is an old pattern formation that Bitcoin has had in here for a while. And that's this right here. So Bitcoin has had this formation right here for quite a while. It actually started, let me see, I think I started connecting the points on this. I think I did it before here and I had it drawn out just a little bit different. I may have had it more so like, um, might have had it in here, something like that. The first time that I noticed it back in the day, might have been like that. But anyway, that's going to be our next momentum line anyway. So I'll just leave this in here for, yeah, I'll just leave this in here for this index chart right here. But we also had the measured move for this, and we had the measured move for one other formation. And oh, okay, what was the other formation? I know we had rising, we had these ascending broad information, we had the potential for the head and shoulders, and oh, the bear flag. So let me just go over that illustration again with you here. So here, if we take a measured move, and let me just draw this fib in here as well. So with the fib, um, I'm not taking it from the absolute bottom, okay? All right. So This is going to be the head and shoulders right here. And if we take a measured move and we're drawing it from our highest point of the head is where you want to take that from. And we're going to drop it all the way down and connect it to the neckline as good as you can get it. And then we're going to take that and we're going to put it at the point where price actually breaks down. All right, so that puts us here at the 786. So that's the head and shoulders right there. All right, so now I'm going to do the one for the ascending broadening formation. Now with this one, I'm going to take it from the last time price action touched top side of the ascending formation, which is going to be here. And I'm going to drag this all the way down as good as you can get it. Tap there. And I'm going to put this at the point where we break with, confirm below the ascending broadening formation. That makes us look like that. So it's just a little bit larger of a move down. And then we have the bear flag right here. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it to the absolute top here of the pole. And I'm just going to drag it all the way down here to the bottom side of the bear flag. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this to the point where the bear flag actually breaks down. So I'm just going to do it right here. That seems to make sense. Now, all three of those patterns measure move comes to the 786. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we were still with, no, we were slightly deviated below our bear market low territory is what it was. It was a slight deviation, but that was the same thing I explained that we did back in 2022 was we got a very slight deviation below. So if I turn this on and I put us on the monthly time frame, which is going to be very relevant to this, you can see how we have a slight deviation right here below our bear market low, or what I consider to be our bear market lows, just using this right here on the monthly time frame. And you can see right here, you can see that small indenture right here, which means that what we were looking at here to be the low, or what I would have been looking at to be the low, was going to be this high over here. That's how this indicator threw that out to me. And I'm sorry, please hold on for a second. Why do you do this in the middle of the stream? What do you want?
Something mean to me. Like this, shouldn't it expand more?
Don't worry about that. They see this differently on their end.
Well, on my end, I see the small.
Well, you're fine. Dang. I'm sorry, I was getting a complaint from a non-participant, but let me just widen this up for you guys here. This is where I would have been looking for price action to not drop below here. But you can see we got that little small slight deviation right here. So in this case here, let's see, I'm gonna go with the very lowest point, which is the measured move for the ascending formation. And then that's gonna, that suggests about 40,000 if we do get a deviation below here. Now the indicator is suggesting this little top right here. So the indicator is suggesting this little top right here to be where the pain cuts off at. This top and this low right here. But if they choose to take that liquidity, and then you can expect for price action to spill over a little bit, maybe not exactly hitting the 786, I want to tell you that because historically, and it just depends on how you draw your fib. So historically, you will look at this if you're drawing it from the low and say, hey, price action generally returns to the 786, 0.886. So the platinum pocket is where price action generally returns to. I did it a different way in my study. I have done it with the 786.886 drawn from the absolute low, and I've also done a video on it and shared that too. Um, a long time ago, a very long time ago, was probably the middle of last year or something like that, if not earlier than that. It may have been earlier than that, but I did a video on that, just explaining that. But let me get rid of these measured moves right here. And let me get rid of that. Drop that and drop that. So I'm gonna take us back to this is my weekly time frame chart anyway. I'm gonna put us on the monthly chart. All right, so here with the monthly chart right here. Again, hold on, let me make sure that I actually did that in this monthly time frame. I may have needed to keep you over there on the other side. Yeah, I need to keep you over on the other pane. So let me put it back over here. All right, so here, where are you? Now I call myself trying to put this inside of a folder. Let's see volume. Let's see everything except for that. Hold on. Unless everything just changed once I yeah, that's not it. It is so disorganized right now. And I honestly did go in and put this in a folder. So let me go back to this chart right here and see. Okay, so I suppose I just have to pull them all over again. Yeah, I guess I just have to pull them all over again because I'm not seeing it. So I just pull them all over again and just switch back over here to this chart right here. And all right, set this on auto. I mean, yeah, auto fit screen. All right, so let's come back here. I probably need to do the index chart though, since this one, yeah, has more data to it. Okay, so, and am I sure I don't have it in here? I insist that I have this in here. Icons, no fibs, no zones, bit retracements everywhere except for the one that I need. USD triangle with the pivots. Guess not. Okay, so I'm gonna pull the fib. Now, let's just start from this back here. And it takes a lot of work to get this done too, and so I just really knew that I had it. I know that with the first one, it is not going to work properly. So let me see if I can't push forward past that, push forward past that. Get here, and I'm gonna pull it from this one right here. And it's gonna take me a second to actually be able to get the fib up to the point where I need to get the fib at. All right, so use the clicking. Let me put my headset on so I can hear when that's happening too. I need to get a new mouse, and I just haven't done it yet. All right, so right here, you can see that from that. I didn't pull it from the absolute low. I pulled it from. Let me take this all the way up to here, because this is actually that bull that bull market return right here. So you can see how this one kind of falls back into the 786 right here. I mean, you can do it from the absolute low and you'll be in the center and you might be trying to guess, or you can just, I mean, look to your, a lot of times what I'll do when I look to my left and I look at what pivot I have to my left, I use the body. I don't like to use, the wick, and sometimes I'll draw it out as an area, which I mean, it's the same thing as, having to kind of guess. But if you go to a line chart, this is how I prefer to do my levels. I call it the meat of a move, which, like that. And you can see that's a much more perfect indication target. I mean, and we all want to be perfect, right? We all want to catch the bottom and be able to brag about it. But, that's how I prefer it, like that, pulling it not from the absolute low, but the prior or the second highest low is the one that I like to pull it from now. Now, if you pull it from, we'll just go back over here. If you pull it from the low, like that, um, you definitely don't wanna be concerned about the golden pocket, and a lot of people are depending on the golden pocket too, which is why I try to take it out of the equation. So let's just drop the golden pocket, and it's the, 0.886. It would look like that. So that's how you would typically come back in on price action, 786, um, 0.886. 786 is all the way up here. Most people are not gonna have this extra one on that I have on. It's just gonna look like that. It's just gonna be one single line for your 786, as opposed to how I do it, where I actually use, I turn it into a pocket, the way the golden pocket has the pocket. I turn it into a pocket, and I just use my 0.886 right there, 0.816. Um, but that's that one. And we'll put this back with the golden pocket too, just because I want to ensure that you understand that it's usually not the golden pocket. Like you can come down to the golden pocket, probably see some sort of a bounce or reaction around that point, but it's typically not that. It's typically much lower. All right, so I'm gonna delete that one. We can see how perfect that was with using the line body right there. So I'll put this in here, and that was the low of here of this bear market right here, which is about a year long. All right. Now this is where we come into our new bear market low right here. So I'm sorry, I drew it from the low. Okay, so this is from the absolute low, like this. 786, 0.886 from the absolute low there, and I just feel like I'm not making sense anymore. That's what I'm feeling like. I'm feeling like how I had it before is not really making sense right now because it's still coming out today. I promise you that this was not my situation. So I'm just gonna have to go in and just pull that fee up all the way down to the bottom now because I promise you that was not what I was looking at beforehand. Okay, but here we are with this. Let's just drop onto our line chart. Let's see, our closest wick past that 786 is gonna be this one right here. I mean, our closest line bias or line chart is gonna be right here. So with the line graph, this is our closest pivot right there. Let me turn this on right here. So you didn't actually hit it right here, but just let that be your buffer. So I tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna take away this 0.886 and we're gonna focus on this 786 and we're gonna focus on our closest pivot here to our left hand side. And we're just gonna make sure that we're not using the wicks and we're actually drawing it off of the body. Okay, so there we have this one right here, and you can see golden pocket again is no bueno, no bueno here on that golden pocket. It did a double dip right here, and this time it did come back and slap hit that 76. But geez Louise, I don't know. Okay. All right, so that's that one. You can see how that worked out. And we're gonna push forward. And I promise you this time I'm gonna do it off of this low right here. I'm not going to use this low right here, but I'm gonna come back and drop it back down to that low just for the sake of this. All right. So we're there. We're all thinking this is our top right here. And then we get this extra push right here. Like you got this golden pocket bounce right there. But then here, now this one is perfect. This one is perfectly hitting the 786 pocket right here. No problems, no rolling over or anything extra like that. Our closest pivot on the line is going to be this one right here. So we don't come towards this one right here. This actually, I can say that it's this right here, but we don't come towards this right here. But it's still good. It's still very good to have this just in case. Okay. So yeah, so that was perfectly the 786 here. Now if I drop it down to that absolute low, it's no different. It's no different. It's no different. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. That's really embarrassing. I can't for the life of me figure out what I did the first time. But anyway, 786, no nothing beyond that but 786. We're just gonna change our line to the right hand side and just be done with that. Oh my gosh. All right. So 786. And that might just make that tap with those measured moves absolutely perfect too by doing that. So let me just go back and just give the, you know, clarification that is going lower than what I was saying before. All right. So that's that one. Take that away. We're here. I did not draw this off of the low, so let me switch it to the low, which is here, which means I have to change, dang, I have to change all of my measures here. Did I? Oh, I hit it back. Okay, right there. So let me just double check on the. See, I'm starting to like this too. So this is from the original broadening formation right here with this trend line right here. Honey, we would have to nuke straight into this immediately. And oh, my mouse, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. Yes, I'm not using a wireless mouse. Really old fashioned. Mm, okay, I cannot deal with this anymore. I will get this resolved today. All right, let's just do that again. Head and shoulder. It's not gonna be 100% perfect. I do try though. I honestly do try to make it 100% perfect. I'm just gonna use this line. I think that that's slightly up above where the but in case that's a thing for you. Oh my Jesus Christ. Yeah, so that's the same thing. As you can see, actually slightly not right there. And then the other thing is the measure move. Mhm. That's right there. Okay, so just like that. But that still puts us over, a little slight deviation below our average return whenever we do get our drop in the bear market. That is slightly below our average return, but it does imply here that we take the liquidity from this low right here. And then we would just be looking for the 786 to get tapped and nothing more than that. But in the process of that, you can go ahead and draw out your line here. In this case right here, because I'm feeling a little funny about price action actually taking out. I'm not thinking $30, guys. I just want to be clear about that. I'm not thinking $30, but it doesn't matter what I think, right? And for that reason, I'm gonna highlight this one right here. I think that that's just a little. That's quite a bit. It's quite a bit. So something like this right here, either back here and we kind of front run this 786 this time, or or there's a chance that it does this, which is so outside of what so outside. This is so far deviated. For me personally, I'm thinking crypto is a Ponzi if that happens. I'm just being honest. I'm not gonna have good vibes about it at all, at all. So I'm not leaning towards that. I'm really stuck somewhere around 40 something $1,000 at best. And that is if these measured moves actually play out and we don't hold this momentum line right here, then I know to let it go and then to start looking down here, right past this liquidity here being taken and look for a reaction from this level right here first. And then, those just the places that I would, give it a chance at. And it only got 4 chances with me because after that, we're done. We're done. So I'm not in a new Bitcoin long position right now. Holding my short position on Bitcoin. I did add into it. Most recently, I added into it 'cause uh, I got in here off the bear flag, and then I added into the position before this drop right here, this larger drop right here happened, and so that increased my position size to 89,000. Something like that. Yeah, it increased my entry to about 89,000. So it actually increased it's just there with that breakout. Okay, that's cool. And I look forward to adding to it one more time potentially, um, for an anticipation of this. But while we're at that, let's just go ahead and mark out the lines here on the pivots in here, even though we will be looking for like a fit retracement. Um, we can do that anytime. And I'm going to use the high just because um, we're going to have this in here also, so I don't have to. And because when you're using leverage too, you need to be able to invalidate your position without it moving against you by so many thousands of dollars, not just a few hundred for me. Um, at best, no more than $500 move for me when I'm trading Bitcoin. But this is about what we're looking at right now, and we just took the liquidity off of this low right here. So it looks like we're continuing down. No lie about it. It looks like we're continuing down. So that's just something that we have to accept right now. But we're coming into support, and you know it's very important to note that we're coming into support now. If for some reason we get in here and our bounce is stronger than this point right here, that you would just invalidate this pivot right here as some sort of a head and shoulders, but it doesn't mean that another, there wouldn't be a chance for the actual formation of a head and shoulder that looks more similar to this right here to take place. Now, if we did, which no, I will do a fractal. It's not the end all be all, but I will do one. Let's just take it down here to the slow. Here. That's where we're at right now. Holy smokes, Batman. I just love to say that. Holy smokes, Batman. I mean, that's where we're at right now. I did get all of that right. I don't know why I'm feeling like I didn't get all of it, but I know I did. Got it all the way down to here. Hmm. And I just put it up here to the top. And that says that we're here. And some people have probably been doing it like this off of the bear flag. And then that sets it right here where we're looking at for this high. That's why this crap is so hard, right? It's anybody's guess. It's anybody's guess. But you do it like that, that says, hey, you're here. You're here. Mm. And I'm not stretching it out. I'm just not going to stretch it out to try to fit, to be like, yeah, it needs to line up with this. No, it doesn't. It needs to match. A fractal is just what a fractal is. It needs to match it completely. And I don't want to have to move and make these candles larger. No, we're not doing that. I'll leave it just like the size suggested, just like the move suggested that it was, and that's how it's gonna work for me, just like that. So that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna leave that just like that. Not really into the fractal situation anyway, but that fractal would say, "Hey, we're here. You're doing it exactly like it was over there without modifying anything." That was it. That was the take this liquidity right here. That was it. But it does suggest that we're gonna continue down lower, no lie about that. So, let me see down here what we got. Um, VWAP is 39. I did kinda go through that too just to see. So we're here. Um, bandwidth 1 is right here, this yellow line, which is 66. This was, this was 2022 bear market, right in here. So we lost the VWAP. We didn't quite touch, this, bandwidth 1 here at the lower end right here. And the other thing, yeah, that's one of the other things too, like, the 200 is about where price action comes to, and it's the 200 and the 400, I believe, but, it just barely scrapes over that 200 if it does, so, and that was there. And then this was that other one right here. So I don't think that you really get consistency off of this. I did go through to just look at it just to see if there was any sort of consistency outside of most occasions in here. It's in between the standard one and the VWAP, and then you have the 2022 where it actually broke below, and it broke below over here too. So there's really no consistency with this right here. Nothing that says, yeah, nothing consistent here if you're using VWAP. But if you're using, where are you at? Using something like this, like your ribbons, then it's usually, let me see. You see this? I don't know why that pops in here on me. Tell you what, delete this one. Let's just remove that one altogether. I think I have it set for a time frame. I think I do, but let me make sure I don't. But have it set for the actual chart that I'm using. And so in this case right here, right, so this is the 200 right here. This one right here is 200, and this is the 400. So it's usually like somewhere in here, 200, 400, and you can see how that particular year we kind of dipped over it ever so slightly before quickly reclaiming back above it. And I don't think that it usually does any more than that. So it's usually something like this, like that's the 200 right there. No, that's the 400. Sorry. That's the 200 right here, but up above the 400. And you really can't tell it too much back here. So you can kind of figure it out at this point that you do break below the 200 right here, and that you're probably tapping onto a 400. So 2-4 is basically what you're gonna get. And I can say the same thing right here, so you can kind of figure that out. And so over here, yeah, that puts us right in here. Yeah, so that all hints at the same area for support. If we're I don't know if we're coming down much lower, but we will bounce around first. It should not just be a moonshot through these highs over here. It just won't be a moonshot. In my opinion, it just won't be a moonshot or earth shot. I don't know. We're going down, so not the moon right now, but it just wouldn't just blast through here without some sort of a reaction. Like we're already getting a slight one, but that's bearish. That's bearish. Mm. So I would go ahead and drop this. I'm gonna go ahead and drop it down lower. So I don't have to worry about coming back to it later to do it. So that is done. I moved it. Even though all of the measured moves, yeah, I mean all the measured moves are there, but it's usually about a 45 to 50% swing lower below that 200. And I know I said something about that on Saturday too. When we went through and we looked at it, it was about a 45% additional drop past that, 45 to 50. No, on this one right here, it did extra, no, 30, okay, 40. We just say 40, it did like an extra 40 off of that low right there, which I forget that this is the Binance chart and it doesn't have as much data as this one up here is going to have. But even here, oh yeah, and this one going to read different too than the Binance chart. That's weird. But here, yeah, it's like, I was like, okay, why is it like 30 something? Okay. But yeah, it's a 43% drop below your 200 EMA. And then over here, I think we did about the same. About here, COVID, that's a 34% drop below. And then here, that's just a 25% drop below. Um, So I just measured it out to roughly just be about 45. I think that's what I did. That last time. I'm gonna put it on this one right here. It's not much of a difference. That's 36 right there. I'm not to get anything extra. So if we're unless you got a calculator, you want to rough things out. So let's just say this is roughly a 35. I don't think we really had too much that was past that point right there. So yeah, that 35 right there. Below the 200 EMA, and the other ones were about, what, 25 or something like that, but anywhere, somewhere right in here, and that was the same. Some shit. Um, get off my chart. I'm gonna put this in a folder. Try to tighten it down. But yeah, yeah, I would call this a rug pull because we don't ever come below here. We don't ever see a big expansion, just that little tiny thing right there. That was it. You don't see that anywhere else in here. Nowhere else did we ever see an expansion. Ever. We dropped into it and that was it. And I'm not even counting that 2022 little piece of expansion. I don't even count that. Like you see, we never. So it'll be something crazy if we're doing it this time. It would have to be something crazy to be trying to get down to that 786 and do all of that nonsense. It's not adding up for me. It doesn't add up for me. The math ain't mathing. But moving forward, let's go back over here to Bitcoin on that 15-minute time frame. Need to get some of that stuff out of the way. And again, this is suggestive. Um, Suggestive setups. Stop loss may not always be proper. Entry point may not always be the best. I'm still working on this, so um, I worked on it quite a bit yesterday. Just trying to figure out where I keep screwing up at, and I'm very limited in using Pine Script. Mhm. But I still made some improvements yesterday. That's what matters. All right. So that's the 15-minute time frame. Let me turn this off. That's my problem right now. I'm just other stuff in here, and I don't want this one over here. I promise you, this little drop right here just seems so extra. It was because we were looking at this yesterday, and I'm like, okay, we can look for something like this right here, just coming back into this golden pocket 786 in here, and we absolutely just plummet through it and V-shape the cover, come back up, come back, and we do what? We back test the area that we were looking at initially. Isn't that crazy? Because we were saying this low right here, we come back down, we can look for price action to come back to this low. We do what? We do this. We go, because we're looking for inverse head and shoulders. We do that. We come up. We do that. We did that. We came up. We did that. Now I'm saying, hey, price comes down because it looks like we're about to lose it on the 4-hour time frame. It looks like we're about to lose it. The cloud is rising. It's putting in bearish divergence. We're going to come down. We're going to look for price action to get back to where? To right here. So about this line right here. And then we straight nuke through it. Come back up. Back testing this or invalidating this bullish momentum here to the upside. And then we come down here and we hit this section right there. And then we bounce away. But we're still bearish. And I said we could even back test this trend line right here. Um, yeah, we felt it real hard. And we did it all with what? With bullish divergence. We did it all with bullish divergence. Right there. And we had this really nice regression line across here too, which is like here. We must have tapped that yesterday. We must have tapped it and that moved down. then got the breakaway because that's bullish divergence at its finest right there. We had bullish divergence right here as well, which is why I was so adamant it was possible for us to get an inverse head and shoulders right here, but we straight up invalidated any idea for that to happen right here. Um, I still didn't expect us to go any higher, but I expected for us to get in here and take out the liquidity from these equal highs, which is the neckline too, and potentially come back at least into here, into these lows, which is going to be where our golden pocket was sitting at. If that had have happened, it would have just been back into around about where that golden pocket is located at. Golden pocket 786, something like that. But just retracing Saturday, and that spillover from Friday with the low liquidity is what I was thinking. I don't know. Mm, I'm trying to go back and figure out how to make some of my exits disappear, but so many of them because we're consolidating there. Just, mm, 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 some stuff. Mm, sales side. If we took that, I can take the writing out of it. All right, let's take a look at Ethereum. I'm gonna come back to Bitcoin. I don't think I have suggested zone over here. I don't. Anyway, Ethereum, I did jump back into Ethereum long. Let's see, I can take that off the side. Let me have it on, but it's so noisy. Ethereum, what's the other one that we were looking at? I told you I closed out my ETH position right here because I had took a Ethereum long. Um, yeah, I had took the Ethereum long. I ended up closing it out right here because we were rising in here. I said it's on Bitcoin, Ethereum. We also looked at XRP. I said all of them have the rising cloud, which means that they have this bearish. Let me turn this off for a minute. Let me figure out that I think that I have to work on that too. I usually turn those off. Turn that off. We were looking at the rising cloud in here, which I said to you, hey, that's bearish divergence. We even had a rising wedge, show a rising formation through here, and we back tested on that, and that was all she wrote right there on Ethereum. But we were looking for something very similar as we were looking for with Bitcoin, which was just to come back and tap around the golden pocket 786 holding. And then we did this. Now we were prepared for coming into the 786. So I did enter into a new long position yesterday, and I used some light leverage on it for Ethereum at our expected. And kind of over here too. I'll probably leave it on over here. Yeah, that's weird. Make sure. Here for this video, and I want it gone. So we were expecting, is this on over here too? Geez, way to go for work. Okay, we were expecting to move down here into the 786. This is what we talked about here. 786. We talked about the fact that um, this is one of the strongest blocks right here for Ethereum. Support, support, resistance, resistance, support, uh, support, resistance right here. And these are the only ones right here. This one comes all the way down to the low, which is why I included that low. But for the most part, you can see how just the top side here of this box right here has been a great support level for Ethereum. So I bought some Ethereum on the spot that we were talking about, price action coming into, which is the 786, and potentially looking forward to hold there. If we start to fail in here, then I start to look at VWAP potentially as a point of return for Ethereum. As a VWAP, also on a more extended move was the support level. So support on VWAP there, support on VWAP here, support on VWAP there. In fact, let me just so I don't have to do all this typing. This VWAP. This VWAP. VWAP. And if it happens again, then VWAP right there. So I'm going to scale into, if it continues, I'm going to scale into, and I think I dropped my leverage down to a 2x on Ethereum. I think that liquidation, because I am scaling into it, only have a small amount right now, so I'm not really going to worry about it too much right now. If I start to, if it becomes booming, I will let her go. But I don't know that it's going to become a thing. My liquidation off of a 2x is like right around just slightly below 1100. So that means that we're yeah, price action has to come down here somewhere. Yeah, it has to come down below 1100. So, for it to be a problem for me, that means the lows over here. Price has to take out the lows over here. in order to take me out. So I just left it as it is, and to show you that I'm trusting in my TA to take the positions. I'm trusting in my TA. I have to. I have to. So I happened to get in at 21.33, so just below the 786 is where I got in. I really don't care if it comes down some more. I'll wait until it hits another key level. If it doesn't hit another key level, then I don't add. So I'm not just gonna keep adding into it just because we're in this zone and we move down a little bit. No. I take the win that I get off of what I have into it, and I won't touch it again or buy any more until we hit another key level. For me, it's the 786. After that 786, I will look at the bottom side of this box right here because I also have my trend line through here. So I will add onto Ethereum right here, nowhere in the center, not at all. I'll take my win off of this. If it's low, which it probably isn't, but let's just say that it is. I'll take my win off of this. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not trying to be greedy. I don't care. Now, if it comes in lower and it comes to the bottom side of the box, this is where I would add a little bit more into it. Outside of that, I won't touch it. Now, if it loses this box and it comes to VWAP, I'll try it one more time here at VWAP, and then that's it. That's it. But I won't be buying just because it moves down slightly. I won't do it. Not gonna be buying in random places. So if you are somebody that likes to DCA, do not DCA at random places. DCA at critical areas, at points of interest, and only there. You're doing too much if you're doing anything less or anything more. But yeah, that's what I'll be looking for Ethereum. We covered this right here as covered this right here. As we were saying, like through here, Ethereum doesn't have a pivot here on the monthly time frame. It had a pivot here, which we broke. We had a pivot here, which we broke. I mean, we've had pivots in here where some lows that we had one here as well. We had one there as well. We don't have one over here except for this low right here. Only at this low with where the VWAP is at. Do we have that pivot? So that kind of does concern me, which is why, again, that's another reason why I'm only going to add at a critical level, and then I know where I cut the cord at. I know where I just can't do it anymore, and I've risked the amount that I was willing to risk on the trade. So low leverage, low capital. If for some reason, everything starts to look good at my final opportunity, then I'll increase the leverage there. But for now, just 2x and smaller capital. So I'm not, burning my account up, killing my account for, I mean, we can get an October 10th dump. That's for all we know. We can get that. We all know what October 10th was like. That was like Terra Luna crap. Like a lot of people got hurt, and it really, really destroyed the space, helped destroy the space after confidence was coming back. It just really helped to destroy the space. So, yeah, we only have that pivot here. Nothing, no other pivot through here. Now on the weekly time frame, you can say that, but on that monthly time frame, you can't claim it. You can't claim it on the monthly. So that raises a little flag for me. And that TA is based on the monthly time frame. Forget the rest of them. It's based on the monthly time frame. We don't have a break of structure on the monthly time frame unless we're taking out this low. So is it necessary that we have to break structure on Ethereum? That's my thing. Is the money larger than me looking to break structure? Because if they are, then yeah, VWAP it will be slightly below. We have broken this VWAP before. Just these last couple of times through here, it held very well through there. Here we did fall below this VWAP right here. We did fall below it here. And this is the start of it. So this really doesn't matter too much to me. But we did fall below it. And let's see. I think I tried. It's right here. So this is a little bit too far of a deviation. So yeah, that's too far of a deviation right there. Crypto is a Ponzi. That's the case. Crypto is a Ponzi. Hold on. I'm saying 1.5. That didn't help it either. 7.5. Just trying to find some rough estimate. Yeah, crypto's still a Ponzi. In that case. But again, like I said, I bought some right here. You see this? See this right here? 786. Support. 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 We've been here before. I think this might also be, let me see. I mean, not that it matters because it really doesn't. Put this back on a monthly time frame here. See if we had to use this from down here instead. And that's going to give us just 786. It's going to give us the point control. I still have to be concerned about this. I still have to be concerned about that pivot. Mm, that's our measured move right there off of this breakdown from whatever we had in here. So play with that a little bit. Yeah, going down. More, I gotta pull these out, and I'll do that later. Mm, turn off some my stops. I didn't mean to have this one on. Uh, I'm not on Bitcoin chart talking about Ethereum. Honey, I guess I was on Bitcoin chart talking about Ethereum. See, my assistant don't be doing his job. You don't come in and say, "Hey, switch your chart over if you forgot." I'm trying to focus on the chart so I can't multitask on the other stuff sometimes. I know the P&L showed up because I showed it to you. I know you didn't see the 786. I know you probably didn't see this part right here, then why I said support, support, resistance, resistance, support, support, resistance, but really focusing on this top line up here. You probably didn't get that. The VWAP test here. That's where VWAP is right here on Ethereum. Should we fail here and where I said I'd be buying that, which is going to have to be the top side of this box right here, which was that 786 entry that we talked about here on stream. And not just on stream, we also talked about um, these potential areas in here in this graph up here. So 786 in this graph, I put this graph out a long time ago, posted on it and everything a long time ago, well before we got deep into this drop. I posted on it. I think Ethereum price had just, it was just heading down into this point right here where I gave all of these notes right here on what you could expect for Ethereum. But yeah, I took my long on that, just slightly below the 786 is where I took my entry at. I'll buy again here at this low, no place else, and I'll buy again at VWAP if VWAP becomes the thing. I expressed again about not having a break of structure here or a change of character on the monthly time frame until price action takes out this low. So that's a little bit concerning for me in here. I don't know if that's going to be a necessary thing that we have to come down here and do something like that. Like, is it part of the the quest that we change market structure, get a change of character at least, got a change of character right there, got one right here as well. Other place we would get one at would be right here. And then I also look at pulling this low right here to this side right here, to kind of mark out where that 786 is located at, which is closer to the VWAP in here. Right now, the way I have it is like this. So it's based on this low to this high, and then we're just inside of our 786. I looked at it from this low over here, and I put it back over here on the prior drop we got, which came into the 786 in the VWAP there. I did not check it for here, and VWAP was sitting right there with the 786, and it didn't really matter because it just got a change of actually a break of structure right there. I don't know if that's like a is that a thing? Like we just have to do that? I don't know. don't know if it's a thing that we just have to do that, but anyway, I cut my losses. It would be no different than me sitting there holding Ethereum, or holding an altcoin or something like that, and it just continues to fall against me until eventually, you know what? It just doesn't return because we do that a lot. We'll buy altcoin, we'll hold it, we'll believe in it, and that thing will be dead, and we won't let it go. We won't let it go. We hold on to it, hoping that it recovers, and all things do not recover. It just depends on what it is. You know, all things just don't recover. You got to know when something just has the potential of not recovering. Look at Polkadot, man. Look at Polkadot. Look at all the faith so many of us had in Polkadot, and it's doing nothing. Tazo, great project, doing nothing. It doesn't make it do something just because you believe it's good. Just because you have a community doesn't mean it's gonna pump. Look at Cardano. Look at Ada right now. Just look at it. We have to learn to let go and move our money to places that give us returns. That's why we invest. We invest for a return, not a return to zero, for a return. If you're not making returns off of it at some point, you just cut it and you can move your money somewhere where it actually works for you. If your money isn't working for you, look, would you if you run a company, would you keep someone on payroll that's not doing their job? Would you keep them on payroll? No, you wouldn't. So if you own an altcoin or several altcoins and you're keeping them on payroll and they're not doing their job, fire them. Hire someone that will do the job. Get you an altcoin or a stock or forex or something that will do the job. But you don't keep paying somebody that's not doing their job. And that's what you're doing when you're sitting there holding altcoins that are doing absolutely nothing. You're paying somebody that's not doing their freaking job. Those devs, they're not doing their job. Fire them. Get out your feelings. You're married to a project that's not doing their job or not contributing, not taking care of the kids, not cleaning up, not looking sexy. You married to that? Get a divorce. Not doing anything to make you feel good? Get a divorce. Find you a wife or a husband that will do, that gets up and goes to work and brings home the bacon and is a loving husband. And I mean, think about that. Provider, protect. I mean, think about that. Why is it still sitting around? Why are you here? No, no, we don't do that. No. I started cutting stuff left and right. My first marriage to crypto, I didn't care. But when I divorced that crypto and I got married to my new crypto, you ain't doing your job. You gotta go. We done. That's it. We done. Solana. And I made sure I clicked the button that time. Where we at? All right, so we're here, back to our low right here. We're holding up. We have not really fallen, maybe a few cents below where we were talking about beforehand. Like we really need to hold here. We really need to hold here. I think we've already did a slight deviation. We don't have enough historical evidence to state that Solana will maintain here. We just don't have enough evidence to show that. Like we did right here, we did just fine right here. We're here now. You can see that slight little bump. So we did take the liquidity from this low right here, but we don't have enough evidence to say back here. I mean, actually, it hasn't been around long enough, so we don't have enough evidence like we do with Bitcoin. But this is supposed to be it. Solana should not be pushing through here. If Solana is doing that, Solana has the potential to come all the way down here towards $40 to $30. Now, if I had to be aggressive with it, then I would, yeah, right here, the 30. So somewhere around 40 to 30 is where Solana has the potential to come back to, in my humble opinion. In my humble opinion. But I've said that multiple times. I said, hey, Solana in here, personally, I'm not buying anymore because I bought from way lower. So I sold some of my Solana. In fact, and I shared that with you that I sold some of my Solana. I unstaked half of my Solana. I sold it. And I put it into cash because I don't want to round trip my entire bag. I just don't want to do it. So I had to do that. Otherwise, if it's coming back down into these levels in here, then I'm round tripping my bag. I paid myself. This high over here, this high over here. That's possible. Let's draw a fib. Draw it from this low to this high. That puts us in here for this high. Let's go further. This is Binance chart. Can we find it somewhere else? Maybe. That's what puts it in here. Shared this back then with Solana too. When we first getting the sell off through here. Okay, Solana, we're below 50 right here. We're below 50 right here. That's when the rest of this happens. So when it's below 50. Yes, there is this formation for head and shoulders, but I don't subscribe to that. I don't believe that Solana. I mean, like I said, crypto is a Ponzi. If rainbow chart crypto, Bitcoin is about to get to the pot of gold, because you have to slide down the rainbow, right? You have to be all the way to the bottom end of the rainbow. I don't understand that. How is gold at the bottom of a rainbow? But okay. Um, Not for that Bitcoin chart. There is no gold there. There's lumps of coal. I don't like that chart at all. That's a rounding top. Rounding tops are bearish formations. Does this have anything to do with Michael Saylor? Probably. Probably. But it won't be pretty for Solana if we're, yeah. I mean, not enough evidence. Here we will find, so there really isn't enough evidence to say whether or not it's you know, a mandatory thing. All I know is I've made it clear personally that what's going on over here? It's kind of lost. Like, where's my stuff at? Here's my notes over here. Okay, Solana, same notes I shared a while back, a long time back, where we got deep into this correction. What we had to look for on Solana below 145 bear market territory. part of what we pushed into the bear market territory if we got to that. Initially, we were over here at 120 EMA. Lots of large caps have been testing that. I put that out here. We came into that, we bounced. We dropped that. We came into what the 200-week EMA. We bounced even a bit harder right through here. And we came down and we hit that, and then value was 127 or something like that. Yeah, um, right here, value area low. It's right there. Lost the value area low. And then I put in here below 145, the bear market territory. And then, where I felt like Solana was in trouble when Solana lost 120. Solana was going to be in trouble losing 120. That set us up to come into our next zone, which is our weekly level as well, which was taking out this liquidity right here. I added in this trend line right here. Support, support, support. So we'll see if we can't slow down the bleeding, if we do continue down lower. We'll see if we can't slow it down right there. But if we're not slowing it down right there, then I'm just looking down here towards the 40 something to 30 something dollar range. I mean, like that's the next area. That's the next area. This stuff down here. This stuff down here. This is the next area of support. Like it is nowhere else. Like if this doesn't hold, and this is gonna match up with, let's just say this right here. And let me put it on an actual, let me turn this off so it doesn't interfere with me being able to switch this into a line chart. Let's just say this right here. Support. 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 Potentially, that's what it would have to be. Coming back into this trend line down here to hit there. That will be our next area. We could potentially see some sort of support at. Now, I will say with this little area over here, like this, at one point, Solana was resting on this point of control for this little area right here. And you can see right here with that drop also into where this is. We held up. Yeah, we haven't actually touched that just yet. So that's fine. I'm not banking on that little small petty move that could be left for this, but that's it. So I don't need this. So I'm just gonna hide it for now. Because if there was anything to look at in here, it was see these wicks, this right here, through here. This is what we had to bank on right here. And we can obviously see that. We can clearly see that. So I don't really need that. I know if we're coming back up, hey, back at it. We're all outside of this now. I'm gonna go ahead and just hide that for now. But we can see here how this worked out before. It's really not too much down here. Not that I could see. Nothing down here. Nothing that's clear as price action actually holding right here. Nothing that's clear. So we're just saving face from taking over this drop right here. In my opinion, that's all we were doing. I'm gonna take that away. I don't need to see that. For that reason, I don't need to see it, but I can clearly see right here that acted as some sort of support. That acted as support right there. So this area right here was very interesting for price action. It didn't even come down here to that section right there. So that area is very interesting. And then that will be, yeah. this line right here. Let me switch up this icon. So it's not this one. I don't see one I want to use though. Gonna go with that check mark. I'm sure that's gonna be big and flashy. Yeah, I'll go with this. Yep, turn that noise off. We had this, this. That. Otherwise, we're gonna be down here somewhere. So that's Alana. That's Alana. Now, in terms of we're all up under the 200. You can't even pull a 4 on this. I can guess I can do that. And I can also do what I did with the other ones, which is when I put my anchor in here, I want to go all the way back. I'm going to be coming into that here. Now, it fell below it all over here. So how useful is it? I have no idea. But we're retail traders, and we just need to see a number to feel comfortable. We have to have a line somewhere so we can feel comfortable about price action. Unless you're just DJing and you're like, you know what, this thing done dropped a lot, I'm buying. You know, you got to have that sort of mentality. Otherwise, yeah, we need a line. We need to be able to you see some math on the chart. Let me just stretch this out. Mm. Now, if I were to take a measured move on anything, I would do it on this right here. But I most certainly wouldn't do it on head and shoulders. I think that's pretty tight right there without going over. Then we go for the breakdown here. And that puts us here at this VWAP. Right. So do that at least. Now on the monthly time frame, not the monthly, but the daily time frame, I have some additional rates that doesn't include this one right here. So we'll take a look at that. I think it's on this daily. Yeah, it's on this daily. And so you can see we're still just hovering in here at our 96.27. Now there are additional war levels in here too. So those are weekly average ranges for price action that have been respected throughout the years here for Solana. That cannot be my war. No, that's not my war too. Hold on. No, something's wrong. I swear to you, something is wrong. When I reset, I think it just kind of screwed my stuff up on me. It screwed my stuff up because that's not correct. It's not what it should look like. And I know it's not. And I have to go through and do all this stuff all over again, which is so annoying. Oh, here we go. What? Okay. Oh, okay. I see what happened. Somehow I got these stuck inside of it. I need to get these out of here. Yeah, I need to get those out of here. I don't know how they end up getting stuck in. I was about to say, like, oh my lord. Okay, so um, we can look at weekly average ranges as well. I'm more stuck on looking at where the biggest swings took place from, as at least from a momentum, trend line standpoint. So that's why I tend to lean more towards that. But I do have in here, I think it's this one. No, it's not that one. It's this one right here. So you can see that we just tapped. Did we tap it? We may not have tapped it. No, we didn't tap it, but we're coming into it. So here, if you're taking a look at these right here, this is why I like this right here because you tend to show some sort of respect to it. Okay, so like through here, for example, um, 1, 2 created the line. We come back, we test it. The third one usually holds, and that's your last chance with it in most cases. And so we got to bounce up. We drop. We drop where? We dropped into this one right here, which was 1, 2 created this line, drop, got a reaction, and then we failed through. We come to where? We come to this one right here next, which was 1, 2 actually created this line. So this pivot and this pivot right here created this line. You got one bounce off of it right here, which was a big bounce, and then it came back again. So you can see how it kind of chopped it a little bit, didn't respect it as much. Um, as it did with the other ones, was a little bit cleaner, but it starts to chop here. It already got all the liquidity off of this trend line right here because it's so old. Like it was from back here. It was an older trend line, so a lot of liquidity was sitting on that trend line too. But we got our reaction through here. We slipped through it. We managed to reclaim above it somehow, and then we fell back through it. And now we're coming into this one right here. So this one, um, tell you what, let me hide. I'll hide that one. And let me hide this one right here too. So you can see, am I using the same one somehow? Hold on, let me see. How is that possible? No, I'm not. Okay, I connected it as such for 1, 2 there. Okay. So I'm not using the same one. I just need to be sure. I'm not going to delete them now. But we're at this one now. You can see where that connection point comes from on that one. And then we drop that one. And then I think that this may actually adhere to what we were looking at with that other one. So come on, magnet. Nope, it doesn't. But this is the one that we were looking at. I don't think that that tapped it right. Okay, there we go. This is the one that we were looking at over there on the this is that other one that I was looking at on the weekly time frame. That'll be right here. So like I say you can look at that. I'm experimenting with that one because it did work here. I mean, it did work here. But there was the yeah, it did work here, and that actually helped create this trend line right here. So yeah, it did work here. I don't know how well it's gonna do next time, but it did work. Then all we can do is have some hopium on it. I think I had did like a broadening formation in here or something like that. I think that's what I had did with this chart once upon a time. I think I did, but I'm not gonna be able to find it, and then it's just gonna drive me crazy. Um, I'm gonna take that off this chart in here. And so you can see how we start to get lower and lower towards that 40 to 30 something dollars in here. But it has reacted every time it came into one of the momentum lines through here. We did see a reaction, so I don't expect for this to be any different. Hopefully, it's not different, and this actually has some merit for us. Again, taking the liquidity from this low right here, but we know what to expect if the worst comes to worst here for Solana. As far as the ones to the upside, we really didn't have too much. one here, we got that one, and we got that one right there, but we have not broken above here at all. So we got nothing. And you can see how this one is connected from this top to here. I try to go with the first two pivots. The first two swings I can find, those are the ones that I like to use for the chart. Now, can you start to create new ones? Of course you can. That would be the same thing. But on this one right here, I have to recognize when they fail too. So on this one, it would have been a quick break on this one right here. So it would have been the break on this one right here. You can see how we started to chop. If we start to chop it quite a bit, I will move it. Now reset it like that. So sometimes you have to know that. And then you can see how we got the breakup, push into that one, rejection, and now we're coming down. So yeah, and it's just like using a moving average, except the lines don't move; they stay where they are unless you move them. They stay where they are, and it's always better to do it from your first two, because that's real. That's what creates it. The first two creates it. You chopping it, then maybe you have a chance reason to move it. But other than that, or add a new one, add a new one. But that's the best way to do those. And then up here, like I said, and then we got this one right here in the future. Should we ever see Solana coming back up? Okay. We'll have that in the future. And of course, your horizontal. And by the time all that happens, you got lines everywhere. So waiting on let me see. I left MACD on over here for what reason? I don't know because MACD is just not giving me. So I'm gonna delete MACD. I'm going to it's not transferring over. Let's change it again. So I'm gonna leave that indicator on. It actually just works better. Makes it easier for me to see the stuff through here. Mm-hmm. We have any insight. This is kind of late in giving a signal. Um, out of here. I think that that's coming from that. It's not coming from that. Right. So this is what we're looking at yesterday with sold. This was the only one that held intact. Can you believe that? It was the only one. And we're not doing this right here just yet. And I told you that I couldn't guarantee that this was going to work out. And that the last time we did this, it didn't. But this was the only one. I just like to exaggerate my line by trying to make it fit, and it doesn't. And I just need to. Do that same thing right here to make sure I'm not, try to be as thorough as I can. I still not believing in this. I'm just gonna leave it like it is though, just in case, since it's not invalidated, I can't leave it like it is. It's just a little sweep right now until it's not a sweep, and then we can say it's something else. We're still within this zone right here. We did get a slight closure below here. I don't like it when we get a closure. If it was just a candle wick, fine, because we did a sweep right here as well. But now it's a closure below it. So I'm gonna drop that zone. Uh, Even though within that we're still kind of coiling in here. We are still coiling within that range, but we did get a slight close below it. So I'll just go ahead and kill that now from that this bar over here. Yeah. Within this bar, this is the pattern that we're creating. And it's only showing on Solana, but this did not hold. It tried, but that didn't. So let's either that holds or we hold right here. So far, Solana, the one thing we do know over here that we can notate is that we're not rising back above our mean in any case whatsoever here. We're not rising back above our mean. Here, the RSI is not rising back above 50, which is the mean for the RSI, so we're not coming back into green. We're getting small bounces in here based on this indicator right, the RSI. We're getting small bounces in here, but nothing would follow through. Small bounce right there, but nothing would follow through. And it's not going to follow through probably until we come back above 50. When you start to see this and your RSI is hanging below 50, you're waiting for a mean reversion. So you're waiting for price action to come back above that mean. Will be no different than using a Bollinger Band and you're outside of standard deviation too, where you're waiting for price action to revert back to the 20 SMA because that happens. That's what we're waiting for with that RSI. We look right here. We can see that here on the Bollinger Band, right? On the Bollinger Band, we're not coming above the mean. And the mean for the Bollinger Band is the 20 SMA. We're remaining below, where you see that blue line right there is the 20 SMA. We're remaining below the 20 SMA, not rising above on the 4-hour time frame here for Solana. Where does things start to change for Solana? When we get a mean reversion. We don't have it on that indicator. We don't have it on that one. We don't even have it here on directional trend right here. So over here, you can see that since back over here, we haven't had a strong bullish confirmation through here, period. It's been lingering down below here. So auto that, and then we start to, let's bring this in a little bit. Don't start freezing on me, please don't. Okay. Give me a little bit more. I need a cold soda now. My screen is frozen on me ever so slightly. All right, there we go. Got a little bit more out of it. GGGs. GGGs, please. Uh-oh. Looks like I just ran into a major error with the streaming. I need to make sure I don't have any, I don't know. I don't know if I have a site going that's destroying everything or what it is. I cannot see anything right now. It's just pure white screens. Okay. It's been a long time since I've had that happen. but it just happened. Okay. So, even over here in this circumstance right here, we can see that bullish strength started to fade. We started putting in bear divs across here. You can see it everywhere. You can't really see it in the volatility, which is going to be different, but you can see right here with the RSI how we started putting in this bearish divergence right here. You can see over here how we started to lose a bit of that strength through here. You still have those moments in between here where you get the little pop, and we're holding above the 50. Just pricking it a little bit. So sometimes indicators can get a little bit choppy, which is where your trend lines would come in to kind of give you some additional guidance. But we definitely lost that strength altogether from this point right here, and it's all just been downhill since then. So we've been sitting very, very low in here. We're at about a 4.9. We've been sitting very, very low. So no relief here from this time frame whatsoever. We've had moments in here, like this right here. We've had moments in here, along with every other indicator. We have moments in here where we did see like a little relief bounce, but this 4-hour time frame for the bigger picture has not shown any reversal signal. And that just happened again. Let me figure out what it is that's open over here that's causing me a problem. Let me close that out. Okay, let me close that out. Close this thing right here out. That out. Let me see what else is in here. I'm gonna close that thing out right there. What else do I have? Um, close that. I do still have corn glass open. I'm not gonna close that out. So hopefully that helps a little bit, whatever problem I'm having, but it's not really showing like any genuine strength in here just yet. Let's come here. Just down, 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 down. We had that most recent bear flag that we got back here. Let me get rid of this. Here. I can get rid of this here now as well. But yeah, I mean, okay. All right, this is just not going to work. And I'm going to kill it here for today because I cannot force. All right, I'm going to have to go ahead and cut it from here. I really just wanted you to know that that was the suggestive trade set up in here right now for a continuation back to the downside. And I just have to post up from here. I need to figure out what's actually going on. The last thing I want to do is to give you, a poor quality stream. I appreciate you. I love you, and I'll see you next time.